Hello from ABA Tech Show 2017 in Chicago, Illinois. I'm Lawrence Coletti.
And I'm John Simek.
I'm Sherri Davidoff.
And we're on the road with Legal Talk Network. And we're back. I have a really fun panel here today. They got an exceptionally long session title, and neither one of them knows exactly what it is, so I took the liberty in writing it down.
We know the title. We know what the session's about, Lawrence.
I understand you know what it's about, but you don't even know.
Speak for yourself.
So I'm going to read it off real quick so people know what we're talking about here at ABA Tech Show. It's called Drastic Times Call for Drastic Measures Securing Client, Colleague, and Co-Counsel Communications.
I think we've now run out of time for the rest of the podcast. That was so long.
I hit a home run there, I think.
Nice work.
So looking for a volunteer who could give me the 50,000 foot as to what that session was all about.
Sherri and I kind of shortened the title. We just call it Secure Communications. Isn't that a lot simpler? Because that's what it's about.
We're going to talk about email, how to secure your email,
Right.
how to secure your phone communications, which a lot of people don't think about,
Right.
How to secure cloud, because so many people are keeping data in the cloud, and all this is really important. You got to be able to do your job, but nowadays you have to do your job securely.
In a nutshell.
In a nutshell.
And the walk away from all of that is encryption's your friend.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so that is the walkaway, and that's what we're trying to do here is provide value. Obviously, we have attorneys tuning in, and there are some out there that did not make this year's ABA Tech Show, and you should because it's a really great event. Mm-hmm. And John is a regular speaker here, Sherri is a regular speaker here, and this is really good information for solo practitioners, mid-sized firm, even large firm, I think, can benefit from sending people here. So, because this is about value, because we are limited on time, maybe we can give some instant takeaways like that, encrypting your phone that would immediately benefit a practitioner either by helping their bottom line and saving them money, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. I'm doing research for a book on data breaches, and I think the number one thing I'd like attendees to take away is that information is like oil. This keeps coming up over the years, and we finally realized that we have to start treating it like hazardous material. So your data is hazardous material. And there are some simple steps that you can take to keep it more secure, but you don't want barrels of oil all over the place. You don't want it floating across the internet without any protection. You don't want it in a closet or in a storage bin. You need to encrypt it, and that's what encryption does.
Right.
It is that protection that helps keep your hazardous material safe and keeps it from leaking out.
And that's well said. I like that analogy, especially having worked for over 20 years for Mobil Oil Corporation.
I did not know that.
But a lot of the things that we're going to talk about really don't cost you any money at all. It's already included within the things that you own or the things that you use. Specifically, if we talk about smartphones, to encrypt them, if you're an iPhone or an Android user today, just put a pin on it. Put some sort of lock code that encrypts the phone immediately. Now, we're not talking about the communications of it, but the device itself. If you have Word, Microsoft Word, you put a password on a Word file, it encrypts the contents of that file. Now, certainly you don't want to send that as an attachment with the password in the same email as the attachment, but still, the point is that it doesn't cost you any money. You already own it.
Yep, absolutely. Same thing with webmail. A lot of attorneys lose data because somebody hacks into their webmail system. And that's a very easy problem to solve these days. If you're using Google systems, if you're using Office 365, you can use what we call two-factor authentication, meaning you can get an app for free on your phone, or you can have it send you a text message so that if a hacker steals your password, you don't have to worry about them immediately getting into your account. If you think about the Yahoo breach, where, 1 billion accounts have been breached, potentially. If you're an attorney and you've been using Yahoo, what are you going to tell your clients, right? So this would make it so that if you use two-factor authentication, even if you lose your password, the hackers can't come directly into your account. That's key, and it's free.
Yeah, we pretty much are hearing about a data breach a day. So it's very, very important, as Sherri says, to protect that information so that people don't gain access to it. If it's encrypted, you don't really care if they get it. You don't even care if our own government gets it, because they're not going to be able to get to the encryption and decrypt the data.
Yeah.
So the world is moving towards smart this, smart that, the Internet of Things. And so it's like every time you turn around, your phone got smarter, your car got smarter. And I know my car is not getting smarter because frequently it tries to tell me my door is ajar. I know, in fact, that it is a door.
Your door is not ajar.
That's right. That was for John. That was for John.
That was pretty poor, Lawrence.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. It's so.
Keep your day job, Lawrence.
Yes, I know. But likewise, though, I mean, with all these new devices like the Echo, and you've got all this information that's getting out there, lawyers are advising their clients, hey, that device is recording you and it's being stored somewhere in the cloud. The last few things you said, these things can be used against you. They got smart, what are those power meters on your house? They keep track of when you're using power, when you're not using power. This is a world of stuff that keeps track of information. And that's just, you guys, with your emphasis on security and data security, that's just got to make your head spin.
Oh yeah, and some of it you can't control. Like you talk about the smart utility meters and the smart water meters and those things. Well, you don't have the option of going and putting a password on that.
Right.
Right? So you're going to have to live with some of these things.
But I called John the other day, and he said, I had to run into the other room because I keep my cell phone in the other room. And I'm guessing you keep it there because you're probably, worried about being recorded? I don't know.
No, not really about being recorded. I worry about people calling me.
Oh, okay. Whoops, sorry.
I just don't. I'm one of those real old school folks that has actual copper to my house and a real phone. Yeah, so
I have one also.
Yeah.
But one of the things we'll touch on is Alexa, the fact that there are devices these days that do record everything that goes on, and that can be both a blessing and a curse for attorneys. It's potentially a source of electronic evidence, but at the same time, of course, you have to worry about confidentiality and privacy, and it's just one more thing that can get hacked. I know for me, I've turned off Siri, I turned off a lot of the things that automatically record you, but it also gets to the importance of ethics and honesty, Make sure that if you're honest in your communications, then hopefully if they do get out there, then you won't have too much to worry about.
All right, 2 last questions. We're running short on time.
Okay.
So one, your best takeaway for cybersecurity, protecting data that you guys were talking about, your favorite tip of the day for that is?
Oh, geez, favorite tip. I already talked about some of the ones. I think that to build on what Sherri said with the 2-factor authentication, I'm a big fan of Duo, a product called Duo, which is relatively cheap, and it can bolt on to a lot of different things that you use, and it's super, super easy. So it's no text message, whatever, comes to your phone, you tap the phone a couple of times, boom, you're good to go.
My favorite takeaway is email is like a postcard. When you send an email across the internet, it's like you just put all your client data on a postcard and put it out there. So encrypt it, put it in an envelope. And if you have any questions about how to encrypt it, come to one of our talks or shoot us an email.
Yep.
All right, so last question. If our listeners want to reach out, talk to you guys, or learn a little bit more about what we discussed today, how can they find you?
Well, they can reach me. My email is jsimek, S-I-M as in Mary E-K, at senseient.com. I don't do social media because I do expert witnessing. So sorry, but there's no Facebook, there's no Twitter, there's none of that.
And you can reach me on Twitter at Sherri Davidoff. My website is www.lmgsecurity.com. If you email my company, info@lmgsecurity.com, they will be right on top of that and make sure that that goes to the right place.
Well, we reached the end of the road for today's episode, but I want to thank our guests for joining us and our listeners for tuning in. And if you like what you've heard today, please find us, subscribe, and rate us in iTunes. We'll see you next time for another episode of On the Road Legal Talk Network.
Thanks, Lawrence.
Hey!
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Ow.
You didn't like my
The door's ajar.
Do you listen to Bill Hicks?
What? No.
Oh, he does a whole thing on the door is ajar.
I didn't know.
If you'd like more information about what you've heard today, please visit LegalTalkNetwork.com. Subscribe via iTunes and RSS. Find us on Twitter and Facebook, or download our free Legal Talk Network app in Google Play and iTunes. The views expressed by the participants of this program are their own and do not represent the views of, nor are they endorsed by, Legal Talk Network, its officers, directors, employees, agents, representatives, shareholders, and subsidiaries. None of the content should be considered legal advice. As always, consult a lawyer.